This playthrough is rated M for mature. Now it's time to deal with the strange case of Dr. Ezkibel and his wondrous warehouse. Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of Shadowrun Dragonfall. In the last episode, we went to do a little job for Luca Dare and found out it was an assassination a mission, which we didn't originally sign up for, but despite that, we decided to finish off the mission legit. Is that a good idea? Well, for the money and to find out a bit more about Firewing and everything like that, I guess we got no choice but to help continue this job. Sought to Luca Dare here. Blackwire, welcome back, and my congratulations on a job well done. If you wanted Aljernon dead, you could have just said so, and I've taken the job either way. He nods thoughtfully. Good to know, but the purpose of this test is to gauge your adaptability. We need to know that you'll be willing to do what we will tell you to do, regardless of your personal feelings on the matter. We need to know that you'll roll with the punches if circumstances change mid-run. Many of your colleagues in the Shadow community have overinflated egos. They let their personal feelings interfere with their work. My organization tends to know that you will see tasks that we assign you through, no matter what. Say nothing. The true purpose of the run that you just went on was to test your willingness to adapt to change. You're still being tested, by the way. If you work for my organization, you may be asked to do things that you find morally troubling. Sometimes it might even appear that we're lying to you, but you can take comfort in knowing that everything we request of you is ultimately for the greater good. After what happened at night, how can you expect me to believe that? I suppose they were asking you for a leap of faith. That leap will be well rewarded, of course. Just imagine that the good that you could do with the money that we're offering you. You can make a real difference in the lives of people at the Cruise Bazaar, if you felt so inclined. He doesn't give you that much money in the long run, folks. Just a heads up. So, yeah, hell with the people at the Cruise Bazaar. That's money for no. That's not an answer. You can't see the big picture. I can't either. I am again just a mouthpiece. The only ones who know my organization's ultimate ends are its ruling council, and they aren't in the practice of sharing information with their hirelings. But know that they are some of the most intelligent men on this planet, and they place a higher priority on social order and stability, and those are good things by anyone's standards. So, he stares you in the eye, what do you think of all this? Every client I've ever worked for has kept secrets. I don't see how this is any different. After a brief pause, he nods and reaches forward and places the cred stick into your hand. Congratulations, you passed your audition. Welcome to payroll. He gives us 1,500 credits for the job. So what happens now? Now we part ways. Don't worry, I'll call you when your services are needed. He taps a neatly trimmed fingernail against the earpiece of his comlink. When I contact you with a new task, the choice of whether to take it or leave it will be yours. If you take it, return here and I'll pay you a fair sum for your services. If you leave it, well, there's some in my organization who will be quite unhappy. I can't promise you that I'll always be able to accept every job that you offer me. Understandable, but I would strongly advise compliance whenever possible. There is always some margin for extenuating circumstances. We are nothing if not understanding, but abusing that margin would be unwise. Dare glances at the PDA, a high-end model etched with the platinum, and with that I'm afraid that I must bid you good day. Good now, I'll be in touch. So, alright, well, decide to work with a man like that or not, it's up to you. But anyway, after doing that job, we've now reached level 4 with our companions, so let's see what we got here. We can either turn Iger into Sniper Specialist Mark II, which she gains the sniper rifle ability, fires a discarding Sabat HTI round that ignores armor completely. Oof. Cost 2 AP, cooldown 5, so good to use, but it'll take forever for her to use it, so it's a one-time go, basically. Or we can give her shotgun ammo mod. Iger gains a shotgun ability that sets targets on fire and strips 1 armor. Ongoing damage 4 cost 1 AP. That's pretty good too. Like she's good either way when it comes to both abilities. Ooh, ignoring armor is pretty awesome, especially against certain enemies in the game. So I think I'm gonna give her the sniper specialist. So, but if you gave her the shotgun ammo, I wouldn't blame you either. So. Dietrich, what do you got? Let's see. Nerve Spear. Dietrich's basic Nerve Bolt spell now flushes enemies from cover when they're hit. Ooh, that'd be good for helping with Iger if I actually hit him with that. Or we could give him armor. Dietrich years of devotion to the Dragon Slayer idol imbues him with an innate armor +1. That's not bad, but kind of really depends. I'm usually using him for buffing in the first place, so I'm never usually getting him with the Nurse Spear anyway. I'm usually using haste or aim or summoning or something like that. Both are pretty good. But at least armor would help him with if he accidentally gets hit or something like that. Let's go with Nerve Spear. Like I said, both are solid options. So. Alright, Glory. Let's see. You can either get Frey Armor, which her melee attack. Glory gains an armor stripping razor attack. 2 hits, and each strip does 2 armor from the target. Costs 2 AP, 2 cooldown. Or we can continue her with Pistol Specialist number 2. Glory gains a pistol attack that targets up to 4 enemies and then opens fire on all of them. -5 accuracy, must have at least 3 targets, cost 2 AP, and a 5 cooldown, which isn't bad, but like I said, it requires a minimum amount of people, and it has reduced accuracy, which I do not like at all. I gotta go with Frayed Armor on that one. Not that we won't fight a bunch of enemies, that's just, you know. I like targets that hit like one person really, really well a lot of times. So, all right, Blitz. What do you got? You can either give him decking boost. Okay, that doesn't matter since I'm almost never gonna use. Well, it doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm never gonna use Blitz at all in the game because you know I'm basically the decker for the group. So, all right, back out. All right. Anyway, before we head on to the next job, let's go back to the safe house. Post that payday. We got that romance payday, and you can actually talk to Blitz. He has something to say about the lodge. As you approach Blitz, he gives you a easy smile. Hey, Chief, what's up? Have you heard of an organization called the Lodge? I think I heard something about a capital L Lodge. Yeah, there was some chat on a BBS that I used to hang out at a few years ago. His brow furrows in concentration. It's a magic thing, I think. Sort of a boogeyman for conspiracy theorists. Interesting. Do you know anything else? Not really, no. Conspiracy theories aren't really my thing. I prefer to keep my eye on what's ahead of me. Besides, most of that stuff is bull anyway. On the whole, people are too disorganized and selfish to make a global conspiracy work. Anyway, that's all I know. He shrugs. I don't think it's anything to worry about. Besides, with the whole dragon thing, we've got enough on our plates already. Talk to you later, Blitz. And no one else has anything to say about that because technically that job wasn't an official run, so that it's not a improve our companions dialogue option type of situation. Anyway, let's go to the BBS and claim the payment for the payday that I sold earlier. The Humanist Safe House data. Data sold successfully. When he bid 460, so we get 414 after the escrow fee, which is 10%, so not bad. Anyway, let's post the romance thing. Romantic recording. So, alright, we'll see what happens in a couple of days. Alright, that's it for that. We can't talk to Ezkibel about the intellect boost that you can get from, but the thing is it costs 5,000 Nuyen, which I don't think I have that right now. No, I do, but I don't want to spend that much money right now, even though I could. Let's see, my decking. Okay, so I actually need to raise up my decking a bit for this next mission. This makes it a little bit easier. So, decking, I need to raise that to 5. So we'll confirm that. All right, let's head on to the next mission there. The main reason is because we're going to talk to Ezkibel at the end of the next mission, and at the end of this mission, because it's the one we're doing for him. So I'll just talk to him with that whole thing later. So, all right, assemble the team and travel to Odnerplot Station to find Ezkibel's lab. It's suggested to either bring a drone user or a decker for this one to make certain sections a little bit easier. So either yourself or Blitz, because he has a drone. If you got the broken drone, he has that now, as you can see there. But anyway, we're just going to bring the classics, Dietrich, Glory, and Iger. Just to let you know, folks, I'm not going to hire anyone else in the game. I'm going to use the freebies. So for those who want me to use someone else, sorry, they're free, and two, yeah, technically there's some characters that are a little bit better, but it's just good enough. So, lockdown. The ride to the Odnerplatz is a dismal one. Your only company on the train is an elderly dwarf in a ragged pea coat, and he spends most of his time muttering to himself. When the train rattles to a stop, he slowly rises from his perch and begins to hobble towards the doorway. The station itself isn't much different, an old broken-down thing at the end of its useful life. feebly tottering towards obsolescence. This area of Berlin has clearly seen better days. A window of light shines down from the surface, and even that looks stale. Slowly begin to climb. Alright, I think we're good with everyone, really. Oh yeah, because of us leveling up our guys to 4, their stats have increased and their abilities have increased, as you can see here. So, Nerbolt and everything like that. So, and their weapons have also increased in terms of damage. So I show that off. So, the streets above the Adnerplatz are dark and dismal. This Kiez has seen better days. Everything here reeks of economic depression and faded glory. Looming above you is a fortress-like, seemingly impenetrable facility. The windows have been shuttered, with enormous steel panels, lending the entire building a sinister approach. That's a target. Sutherland Bioscience. I wonder what happened in there. Might still be happening for all we know. That was a cheerful thought. Come on, boss, let's get this over with. Alright. And yeah, we actually get some dialogue from our companions on this one. Not a big deal, but hey, why not? As you can see the dirt, debris, and everything all over the place. Ew, gross. Huh, this is a pretty open area. I hope nothing happens to me at some point during this mission. You know, with it being such a huge open area. Nah, it's probably nothing, right? See? Nothing here. No enemies, no nothing like that, so... Ooh, hello. Discarded tires. This pile of trash is steaming. Fetid waves of stench watch over you as you draw near. Ye gods, that's Vink. I'll stay back here if you don't mind. I have better things to do than dig through a pile of decomposing trash. It might not be decomposition. That steam could be coming from a grate or a vent under the pile. Move the trash aside. Oh, there's a little vent here. Now, before we do that, let's look at this door here. The door is sealed tight. Dirt, dust, and grime have caked around the corners. It's clear that no one has been through here in many months. You can see the hydraulic jacks locking the door in place from the bottom of the frame. So you have a 6. You can attempt to force the hydraulics into decompression mode. Strength 4, pound on the door. And you can get your muscle to move the door. We're going to do it, but just to let you know, you can't actually open the door this way, despite the game giving you a choice to do it. So, Iger's shoulder checks the door. Nothing. Tries to force hydraulics. Nothing. It's secure, all right. We're going to have to find an alternative entry point. So there's 2 ways to enter this. So you can go through the vent, or we can jack in. So, yeah, I'm checking to see if there's. I don't think there's anything else around here, but yeah, I've got some random people there, but nothing. So anyway, so if you, well, I'll show you here in a second. So. The garbage pile was concealing a small HVAC vent. The steam that pours from it smells much cleaner now that it isn't being filtered through a heap of filth. A dwarf might be able to fit inside the vent, but nothing larger. So if you actually are a dwarf, a dwarf option will appear and allow you to go through the vent and open the door through that way. But since I'm not a dwarf, you can send a drone instead. So I think it's one of the few times in the game where it's race specific, you know what I mean? Because most options in the game don't have a race option for the most part. It's more for flavor, if anything, you know. At the end of the duct, you find a maintenance panel. It was designed with a big, chunky handle suitable for drone operations. Open the hatch. Behind the hatch, you find a great rat's nest of monofilament wires. Each wire snakes over and around the others to connect to a different endpoint. Thankfully, all the endpoints are labeled. It doesn't take long to find the wire that governs the power locks for the building's front door. Short-circuit the front door lock. After a few seconds of fiddling with the wires, you're rewarded with a bright flash and wisps of oily blue smoke. The light next to the door, lock status door F, fizzles out. The street level door should be accessible now. Back away. So that's one way to do the door, is get a drone, or yourself if you're a dwarf. You can now open the door, or we can't do it now because I've already done it, but if you jack in and you have decking of 3, I think it might be lower than that, you can go into the matrix and unlock the door that way. It's a very small area. You do have to fight some ice in there, but it's not too heinous. I think that's I think there's like one of their stuff that requires decking, but not actually going into the matrix. So anyway, let's go inside. Then we got an observation terminal here. This terminal governs the animal testing wing of the Sutherland Bioscience. Data entries concerning animal test subjects and the procedures performed upon them fill the menu screen. Sutherland Bioscience Animal Testing. Observation Terminal. Hellhound Testing Protocols. Basilisk Testing Protocols. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Hellhound Testing Protocols. This entry contains notes on a variety of invasive test procedures that were performed on a kennel of hellhound test subjects. There are several memos appended to the file. Apparently, the scientists working in the animal testing wing were less convinced that working with dangerous fire-breathing animals would yield useful results than the executives were. Basilisk testing protocols. This entry covers the various forms of experimentation and testing performed on Sutherland prized possession, a rare albino basilisk, acquired from an exotic animals dealer in Portugal. It appears that the basilisk was being used as the primary focus of a passion project at Sutherland, an attempt to create a magically active piece of bioware. While the executives in charge of the project felt that basilisk would make an appropriate test subject, it's not clarified. The list of procedures performed on the creature is extensive, including a series of euthanized thoracic surgeries. Back away. Or step aside, or whatever. Alright, and then we got a scientific terminal over here. This terminal appears to contain an inventory control system for Sutherland Biosciences merchandise. The items are spelled out in ambient lettering against a solid black background. A glowing cursor awaits your input. Sutherland Bioscience product and specimen inventory. Orchem Wing, Tissue Banks, Organ Farm. B, Orchem Wing, Breakdown and Analysis. C, Replication and Fabrication. D, Contract Fulfillment. E, Animal Testing Wing, Special Products. Select Tissue Bank, Organ Farm. This entry provides a complete breakdown of the standard organs that are being grown in the organic chemistry wing of Sutherland Bioscience. It seems that the lab was outfitted with the capacity to mass-produce vat-grown metahuman organs, including hearts, kidneys, livers, and lungs. This material would be then used for testing purposes. Breakdown and analysis. This entry contains a complete log of studies performed by Sutherland employees on the products of completing biotech companies. Bioware samples by Universal Omnitech, Shiawa's Proteus AG, and Biogene have all gone under the knife here, and the results of each dissection have been meticulously recorded. Replication and fabrication. This entry contains note on Sutherland's attempt to replicate products that had previously dissected and studied. According to the information here, Sutherland had achieved a shocking level of success at producing generic versions of a wide variety of commercial and restricted Bioware products. These knockoff products were commissioned by an outside investor and have been moved into cold storage in the executive wing pending transport. Contract fulfillment. This entry contains a complete breakdown of the organs waiting in cold storage to be claimed by clients and investors. Scanning over the list, you see a number of high-end security level enhancements in inventory. Bioware like this would normally run tens of thousands of new yen. If this was what Ezkibel was commissioned Sutherland to produce, he could undercut all of his competitors and still make an ungodly profit. Special projects. This entry details a number of projects that involved invasive testing on awakened animals. There are listings for numbers of hellhounds, including their complete medical histories. It appears that most of the experimental procedures listed were performed on a subject named Billy, but who or what Billy might have been has been left undisclosed. Uh-oh. I don't want to run into Billy. Billy! It looks like we got a locked door here, so we got a ladder we can go down. Clearance panel B, clearance panel there, and a key card panel. There's the door connecting that room over there, so let's take a look at the key card panel. The door is locked by a high-tech magic lock with a swipe key access system, but the status screen indicates that the lock has been overridden by a local computer on the network. Now, if you have decking 5, we can go in here, so piggyback on the network override to unlock the door. If you don't, we have to go another way around to this place, so your hack successfully unlocks the door. Alright. What the? Unauthorized access detected. Primary weapon systems activated. Or pacification, sorry, so. Alright, let me just hide behind the thing. And hide myself, so. Alright, we've got, let's see what we got here. We've got automated drones. 50 HP apiece. Nothing we can't handle, so. Alright, let's D-trick. Alright, let's cast aim on Iger. I should get a bit closer so we can start shotgunning people. And yeah, we got it. Nice. Alright, let's see. Let's get a little bit closer for you. I guess I'll have to... Yeah, I guess I'll just move in closer. Alright. Let's see. Let's do the aim ability. Yeah, we could do the crit ability. When you beef up your this particular drone has the target head ability, which basically increases the chance of critical hit. Probably won't hit though. Yeah. Oh well. Ow. You missed with your. Wait, how'd you miss both of us with your grenade? Huh. All right. Guess I'll move down here just to see next turn use that. Alright, see Dietrich. Let's go and cast haste on Iger. So Iger can just start shotgunning the crap out of the dudes. Let's see. Might just straight up hit him. Yeah, we'll just hit him. 2? Well then. Alright, that was not a very good run for that. Let's see. There's that one. Ow! Quit hitting him! There's clearly better targets! Why? Why are you hitting us? Oh, that is so dumb. Well, I don't know. I have no idea why they're hitting, you know, Dietrich and myself. That's so stupid. I will do that so we can reduce the damage done to us. Wow, that's just not one of my days, is it? Yeah, you don't really get much. Unfortunately, they're immune to bleeding, so that's why it's saying that when I hit them with that. So. Just try moving around, try to get. There we go. Wow, I got a nice crit there. Wow, this game hates like people in the back. Well, you know they say in D&D, wizard dies first, so there you go. Let's just pestle you again. Whew. That was annoying. What the? That was weird. Well, anyway. What's this? Oh, 53 new yen. Alright, we'll take that. Anything in here? Nope. Alright, what's going on here? And once again, we can climb down, but yeah, that you can climb down there and eventually takes you over there, but what the? Who's this guy? A wild-eyed young man in a tattered lab coat confronts you. His beard is bushy and unkempt, but bare patches of skin show through. You there! Who are you? He stalks towards you, his hands twitching. How dare you enter my domain? This domain? Was he playing a LARP or something like that? I'm Blackwire, pleased to meet you. Well, Blackwire, I am not pleased to meet you. You stand as a trespasser in my sovereign territory. You have murdered my citizens. You have invaded my home. Dietrich mutters under his breath. You got a vibe on you, boss. He continues his rant without pausing for a breath. You are a murderer, a monster. You will pay. Hold up, who are you?
I am Phil Rex, the Night King of Shadowrun Bioscience. I will have you banished for your transgressions, sir. Banished to the underworld and left to the ravages of the all-powerful Billy. He pauses, blinking. Hold still while I fetch the robots that will banish you. Now, he can straight up attack him if you want. However, there's a way to get his help, so I think we got off on the wrong foot here. To put it mildly, he sobs. You kill them, you monsters. The people I've devoted my life to protecting. I did my best to make life good for the peasantry. I scrubbed their plastic cases on a daily basis, and I crooned pleasing melodies to ease their troubled minds. But those days are now over now. My peasants are dead. You destroyed something beautiful. Yeah, well, alright, yeah. Anyway, to placate him, we want to placate his insanity, so, alright, sire, I'm sorry about your peasants, but, I'm on an important, quest. The grief on his face instantly vanishes. What replaced it looked like curiosity. Oh, well that changes everything. Perilous quests, civilian casualties go together like chocolate and peanut butter. I can't stay mad at you like that. Well, sometimes they call heroes in D&D murder hobos, so... Tell me about this quest of yours, good sir. Leave nothing to be the imagination. He leans forward, smiling. You have my rapt attention. I need to get my hands on the BioWare prototypes that are being stored in the executive wing. His eyes go wide. The executive wing? Madness! Take this as a warning, noble stranger. If you intend to forge your way into that land of milk and honey, you go at it at your own peril. The underworld stands between you and your goal, and the underworld is home to the murderous Billy. Oh. I think I've read about this Billy. He was Sutherland's albino basilisk, right? He is right. Now he is so much more, a creature of legend. Years of experimentation have remade the beast into the ultimate killing machine. He's smarter than 10 men and 5 times as deadly. I think that I've heard all that I need to know. If this Billy's standing in my way, I guess I'll have to kill him. He snorts. A fool's errand. Heiner tried to kill Billy once. He thought that by eating the beast we could steal its powers. Hubris. Billy devoured my friend for his insolence, and the last remaining copy of Keycard E was lost. He was a beautiful fool, that Heiner. I told him that we didn't need to eat Billy, that we could survive indefinitely on synthesized cardiac tissue and choco nubs. But he wouldn't listen, and Keycard E was lost. And without it, I can no longer access the executive wing, an expansive snack bar. Oh, sorry to hear you can't access the snack bar, dude. I've eaten nothing but vat-grown metahuman organs for a year and a half, stranger. I would kill for a choco nub. I think I've heard all that I need to about Billy. Just tell me how to get into the executive wing. Very well, stranger. If you cannot be dissuaded, I will help you. The ragged lab tech fishes in his coat pocket with a bony hand and produces a thin slip of plastic. He presents it to you with a flourish. This is my most prized possession, the incomparable Keycard B. Using this, you can descend into the underworld and face Billy. If you should survive the encounter, search for the long-missing Keycard E. Use it to reopen the executive wing, and I will see to that you are richly rewarded. Seems like a nice guy, even though a bit bonkers. Obviously if you kill him, you don't get his assistance, which, depending on how you're playing your game and everything, you probably do want his assistance, or at least it makes it a little easier. But that's up to you, obviously. It looks like this media setup is wired into the building's security system. Video feeds from cameras all over the facility can be viewed here. Search the machine's video archives. Paging through the computer's file system, you find a number of archived video feeds from the building's surveillance system. In addition, episodes 1 through 6 of an old Slovakian period fantasy series called Night Kings of Lightning Hold have been saved to the machine's desktop. I've heard of that show. It's supposed to be horrible. I mean, really, really bad. Never watched it myself, but I hear that it made Neil the Orc Barbarian look like high art. I think, if I remember, the Orc Barbarian is like a random like comic in the world or something like that. But I don't remember every single little small detail about this world. But, well, everyone always has those old 80s series or whatever that they like, or fantasy series that are really bad, but there's just something about that they really enjoy. So, oh. Anyway, watch the security archive dated 18 months ago. As the video feed kicks in, Philip is engaged in an animated discussion with someone who's standing just outside camera range. You can see his shoes and his shadow, but nothing more. The voice sounds human. You guess that the off-camera speaker is a man in his early 20s. Look, Weiss, we survived this long. If we play our cards right and do a proper bit of rationing, I reckon that we can live off of the executive snack bar for a long time to come. We'll have plenty of fat and sugar. Those won't be a problem. We've got mixed nuts for protein, and we can get our vitamins and minerals from diet bars. There aren't many of those, but like I said, we'll ration. I'd be willing to bet that we can hold out for 2 or 3 months on what's stashed away in that snack bar. We're sure to be rescued before we run dry. You're fooling yourself, man. Ignoring an unpleasant truth rather than facing it. We have to accept the fact that we would be stuck in here for the long haul. The snacks are great and all, but they can't be our staple foodstuff. We need to stretch them out as far as humanly possible, and that means supplementing them with something more substantial. There is a long pause. You don't mean. Look, just think of it like farming, right? If we look after our crops, we'll always have food to eat. We have enough supplies on hand to keep the tissue cultures and orc-chem wing growing indefinitely. What I'm talking about is growing meat for our own survival. That's all of it is. Metahuman meat, Phil. Synthetic hearts and livers and kidneys grown to be implanted into people like you and me. You're talking about eating people parts. It's fucking disgusting and won't do it. Unless you fancy dying of malnutrition, you're gonna have to. You know what that as well as I do. Organ meats are rich in vitamins and minerals. Chlorine, CoQ10, vitamin D, bioavailable iron. All these things we're gonna need if we want to survive in the long term. You won't find much vitamin D in licorice sticks and choco nubs. You're talking like they're never going to rescue us. We're in Berlin, Heiner. What they? Who do you think is coming? We need to be prepared to survive here for a long time, maybe years, and that means making the most of the resources at our disposal. You're talking about resorting to cannibalism, man. No, I'm talking about eating meat. The video feed flickers and winks out. Find yourself deposited back in the main menu. 14 minutes ago. An image flickers into the frame. Philip, leaning against a wall, listlessly chewing on an undefiable hunk of cooked meat. He looks miserable. A drone comes to inspect him, and he pushes it away. Heiner's voice crackles over the intercom. Philip doesn't look up. I'm going now, Philip. Phil, no more arguments, okay? There is a long pause. In lieu of responding, Philip takes another bite of meat and gnashes at it with his teeth. I'll kill that fucking thing, you see. That goddamn basilisk is going down. Once we can get down into the sewers again, we might be able to find a way out. That is our chance, Philip. Wish me luck. Philip says nothing. The video continues to play for a time, and then cuts to static. 11 months ago. The video feed flickers onto the screen. In it, you find Philip standing in the corner of the room that you're in now. He looks haggard, exhausted, and he carries a haunting look in his eyes. Heiner is notably absent. Cheap synthesized music pipes in from somewhere off screen. Philip turns to stare in that direction that the music came from. A smooth baritone voice sings out a phrase in Slovak. A half second later, a different voice shouts a translation in German. Night Kings of Lightning, hold! Philip stares glassy-eyed as the show begins. The synthesized music blares. A traditional trollish voice rumbles out of the media center, speaks. I, Titanius Rex, will defend my realm. I will do so, swear it, before my magic sword. Argo nar, this I do swear. An alarmingly breathy, elvish voice sings out in response. But Titanius, the Jubilthon hordes will smite you if you stay. The people in that valley are only peasants. You needn't throw your life away for them. Flee with me into the enchanted wood of Tralasheen. Please make us this stop. I like how Iger's annoyed by it. My life is sworn to protect those peasants, she-elves. Run back into your enchanted trees if you will, but the Night King will never flee. But Titanius, her voice comes out in a lithing wail. You cannot die. I love you. Then go to your father and beseech him to rally his elven troops southward. For I, Titanius Rex, Lightning Hold will fall, and Lightning Hold will not fall. The drone drones on, audibly struggling to emote and occasionally tripping over his lines. Overall, the acting quality is roughly on par with what you expect from a primary school Christmas pageant. Philip stares at the screen, listlessly chewing his meat. His nose is wrinkled in distaste, and his fist clenches and unclenches. Mercifully, the video feed cuts to static. 8 months ago. The screen flickers, and a video feed of Philip pops onto screen. He's standing in the corner watching an episode of Night Kings of Lightning Hold. His jaw hangs slack, and he stares at the screen in rapt attention. So even if you hate something, it's like when you watch something you hate for a long time, and then you get enraptured into it because you watched it so long, it's like entrapped in your brain. I've done that with shows before that I hated, and I watched them. At first I thought I liked it, but then after I stopped or got away from it a while, I realized I hated those things. So I never watched them again, never got myself into that trap. But that's happened to me with certain shows and cartoons and stuff like that. So But father, Titonius Rex is risking his life, nay, his very soul, to defend Lightning Hold from the Jubathons. This enchanted sword, Argo Nar, feeds upon his honor and bravery. It seeks to transform him from a noble knight king into an evil demon lord. Philip's lips move silently, mouthing the words that they are spoken. Evidently, he has committed the entire script to memory. My darling daughter, that is why I cannot send my troops. Your beloved Titonius Rex walks the knife's edge between light and darkness every time he draws that devil blade from its scabbard. It is long past time that you learn the truth about me. Brenathay, I was the one who trapped the demon lord Carborg within the blade. The breathy actress lets out a sharp gasp. Phil mimes the motion, and a tear begins to trace its way down his cheek. Father, you can't mean... Yes, my daughter. I was the one they called Thunderspear. The sworn enemy of Titonius Rex's people, the Hongan barbarian tribe. Then all this is your fault. Jujubathons, the threat to my beloved soul, all of it. It was the only way to save Tralasheen, my darling daughter. Tralasheen and your mother, whom I hid away when you were but a girl. She's still alive, Brenathay. The security drone floats by to inspect Philip. Idly, he reaches out and begins to stroke its casing, petting it as if it were a house cat. The video feed flickers and sputters out, and you find yourself back in the main menu. Watch Security Archive, dated today. The screen flickers, and Philip appears on the screen. He appears to be dancing with one of the security drones. The little machine weaves and bobs frantically to avoid colliding with him, and with every motion, the lab tech slides in to fill the empty space. Around and around they go, twirling and writhing across the laboratory floor. There's an enormous smile on Philip's face. Then the lights go dim, and an alarm begins to sound. Danger, danger, intruder detected, security protocols engaged. I admire bravery, noble vassal. Philip rests a hand on top of the little drone. But this is my fight. I, Philip Rex, will defend this land with my life, indeed with my very soul. Please, sir, please clear the area. Hostiles inbound. No, noble spirit, it is you who must. I repeat, clear the area. Hostiles inbound. He nods slowly, his face beaming with pride. Maybe you're right. I am already a Night King. Perhaps this is your time to shine. I will not rob you of this moment of glory. I will allow you your moment in the sun, and when you return victorious, I will grant you lands and titles to reward your heroism. Please clear the area. I know, I just something really funny about that. Philip turns and steps out of camera range. The drone is joined by two others, which wait in a holding position facing the camera. The picture breaks into static and the video cuts off. Walk away. I wonder what happened to them. Bullet shots later, so Iger's shotgun blaring off in the distance. So. But yeah, we basically killed them just a second ago. Alright. Enough with that silly nonsense. Let's continue exploring. There, we can climb down there. We got a couple places we can climb down. Or, let's see, this clearance panel. Let's check that out. The door is hermetically sealed. Months of disuse have left it covered in a thick coat of dust. A simple swipe key access system has been mounted into the door frame. Block letters on the system's case read, Executive Clearance Only. Walk away. Can't do anything with that. Let's check this. Clearance level B. This console seems to be to control the locking mechanism for the door in front of you. A keycard reader has been set in the front bezel of the console. Text on the screen reads, Keycard Access Clearance Level B. Swipe your clearance card B from Deuter. The key panel LED indicator blips to a more pleasant hue, and the door unlocks with a thunk. And we also climb down here as well. Let's pick this up. We got an advanced medikit. We will put it in our stash for now. If we climb down this way, because we could climb down the other way as well. Yeah, we go ourselves into a sewer area here. Alright, let's grab this right here. There, we got 59 new yen. Alright. Nothing to sneeze at, but hey, why not? Alright, anything else? There you go. Then we got that clearance B panel. Ooh. Locked safe. Okay, so that's up that way. So let's... Alright, let's go over here. Alright, let's check this locked safe.
The safe is locked with a similar key swipe lock to the door panels. Swipe your clearance B card. The safe chirps and the door swings open. There, what do we got inside? Got a auto injector bliss, so we can give that to Ezkibel, and we can put that in our system if we want to. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Alright, let's go back down this way again. Alright. Let's go up this way and get to that other door. And this, obviously, as you can see here, yeah, it brings us up to this room, so. Alright, actually, I think, let me talk to one dude again really quick. I think there's some extra stuff we can get out of him. Let me check with him really quick before we continue on with the next section. So. Okay, never mind. Oh, he's asked if we had encountered the long lost key card. I'm like, no, we haven't yet. So, the hope drains from his eyes. Ah, then what do you want? What happened here? What caused the lockdown? A calamitous series of events. It began with a spilled cup of soy calf and ended in terror and blood. He falls silent. There's a long, awkward pause. Someone spilled soy calf. That's it. Well, no, naturally, the inevitable results of such an incident followed the spill. He blinks confusedly. Do you want me to spell it out for you? Yes, that wasn't an explanation. He sighs. Then you shall have one. Where to begin? On the morning of the lockdown, all was well. Gessler, an executive, was making his rounds, walking from console to check up on us. He held a bubbling cup of soy calf in his stubby little hands. We all knew that food and drink were forbidden outside of the employer lounge, but Gessler was a proud man, and he would not obey the rules. His pride was our undoing. He tripped and fell, and his soy calf spilled under the console and the Admiral testing wing. There was a terrible snap of shorting circuits, coupled with the stench of ozone, all over the building. The emergency lights flashed and alarms blared. The building went into quarantine mode. He raises his voice and gestures theoretically. Doors locked, shutters slammed, closed. We were all trapped like rats inside. We were not afraid. We were sure that the malfunction would be fixed within an hour. We did not know what was coming for us. Unbeknownst to any of us, Gazel's devil beverage had done more than initiate a false quarantine. It also shortened the locks on Billy's cage. The albino basilisk slipped its bonds, and in that moment, its reign of terror began. His voice climbs to a roar. Within a half an hour of the spill, Billy had slaughtered everyone who could have disengaged the lockdown. Executives were torn limb from limb. Their business attire was shredded, and their expenditure reports bathed in blood. And the rest of us were trapped inside with a savage beast. He falls silent, blinking, as you watch his expression clouds. When he speaks, his voice is small. In the end, only Heiner and I remained. We managed to trap Billy in the underworld, but there was no hope of escape for us. It's been 2 years. Someone must have come knocking by now. No, as far as the outside world was concerned, we were still under quarantine protocols. Nobody knew why, and nobody cared. The building had presumably been sealed for a reason, and the world at large wasn't in a hurry to crack it open again. Heiner and I found ourselves completely isolated from the outside world, with a terrible creature running loose in the basement. Our choices were to give up and die, or to make the best of it. The manic cheer that you've come to expect floods back into the lab tech. He spreads his arms wide, a knowing smile on his face. And as you can plainly see, we chose the latter. We persevered, and eventually transformed this husk of a building into the glorious kingdom that you find yourself standing in today. It was all for the best, and in the end, I tamed this land, and I have grown to love it. I will never live anywhere else. You could leave now that we opened the door, by the way. Just saying. So, I want to know a little bit more about the underworld. He nods slowly. The nether realm that lies beneath the hallowed halls of Sutherland Bioscience, a nightmarish labyrinth of dripping pipes and filthy brickwork. Billy rules supreme down there now. To set foot in the underworld means certain death. Strange that somebody would build a labyrinth under a biotech company. It is, isn't it? It's a mystery, a conundrum. What could they have intended it for? The torture of the innocent? Or perhaps the builders had the prescience to foresee the coming of Billy? Or maybe they intended it for basic sanitation. It's a sewer too, by the way. His voice lowers to an ominous whisper. It is also a nightmarish labyrinth of... easy there, Tiger. I get it. Now I'm going to change the subject.
He blinks. I suppose you have that right. Tell me about your peasantry. I love them. They're like family to me. When I'm hungry, and they're the ones who harvest the meat for me to cook from the cultured organ lab. When I'm in need of company, they keep me warm. Sounds cozy. It is, it is. You killed 3 of them, but I can activate more. He rubs his chin, grinning. They will return to me, and I will show them the love that only a true ruler can. I will bathe them in my affection, and they... Hang on a sec. Just how many more of these peasants do you have in the building? Oh, hundreds! He beams at you. The security system here is quite state-of-the-art. User-friendly, too. It doesn't take long to figure out how to make some peasants wake up and others go to sleep. I allow the majority of the peasantry to rest peacefully, basking in the benevolence of my rule. I could wake them at any time, but why? I say let them rest. That's probably for the best. Can we talk about something else? He blinks. Of course. What do you need? Maybe you could use this peasantry to kill Billy for you? He recoils in horror. My peasants? Sent against that monster? Never. No, stranger, I tell you that it would be a massacre. I would have their blood on my hands. I cannot do it, and I will not. End of discussion. Even though that made the whole mission a lot easier, but okay. I want to know about the prototype BioWare. He shrugs. It's BioWare. Pretty standard stuff. Paint editors, trauma dampers, orthoskin, things like that. And all of it was reverse engineered from existing BioWare products, right? I've read up on Shadowrun's process. Yes, that's right. Knockoffs. He nods slowly. Dangerous work, illegal most places, but not here in Berlin. Our investors needed it that way. Knockoff BioWare. Great. It was good stuff. High quality. You couldn't tell one of our pieces from the real thing, not even with a microscope. But then, that was then. This is now. The stuff in this lab, the organs we worked so hard to copy, it's no different to me than anything else you've seen in this lab. It's all meat. He frowns in distaste. Potentially edible, sure, but otherwise useless. If you won't miss that meat, I'll take it off your hands. Go right ahead. Fill your pockets. Take whatever you like. I, on the hand, will avail myself to the snack bar. You're really into that Night Kings of Lightning Hold show, aren't you? Staring at you, he nods slowly. It is my life. My entire life. My reason for being. You know that you haven't, you know that you haven't seen the conclusion, right? There were only 6 episodes saved in that media center memory. That show ran for 7. He reels as though he's been struck. You're saying that there's more? That's what the program information said. 1 series, 7 episodes. You've seen 6. I'd always thought they'd left the ending to the imagination, like a beautiful dream. He fidgets uncomfortably. But now the dream is over. I will never know peace until I have seen this conclusion for myself. He lurches forward, his hand clasped in supplication. You must help me! You must find a way to show me the final episode. I need it! Well, if you have decking 4, we can help him out on that. So, yeah, if you don't, you can't help him or tell him to leave the building. But now, since we have decking, well, I guess I could disengage the quarantine. That would reestablish the building's matrix links, and then I could download the show for you. He nods vigorously, patches a beard wobbling with emotion. Yes, please, do it! Do it for me! All right, calm down. I just need to get into the terminal, drop the quarantine, and then I'll copy the episode to your media center for you. Oh, thank you, thank you! Tears stream down his cheeks. This is the happiest day of my life! Will it be the happiest day of his life? Will we be able to get that episode? And what about Billy the Basilisk? Will we have what need to take him down, or will we get turned to stone? Find out next time in the next episode of Shadowrun Dragonfall. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.